Assalamu alaikum everyone, welcome. And today we're going to be creating a cityscape, and this is going to be a cascading city view of a Moroccan Marrakesh inspired landscape on a Ramadan night. So we're going to be putting with our white pen a crescent and some stars, and we're going to have these iconic Moroccan style structures that would be cascading down like a foothill. For traditional residences. So I'm just going to tell you the materials. So I'm going to use a black background because I want it to represent the night. If you don't have a black, blue or purple would also do. As you know, our night sky often can look any of those shades. Gray is also fine. I cut out a bunch of random sizes. These are from old projects and just cut from my pack of multicolored construction paper, and these are going to be the base of all of our structures, which we're going to embellish and turn into something that looks like an architecture. And I have a glue stick and pen. And then to add, if you have, you don't need to have, but if you have old or any scrap like pattern paper of any sort, that can be really add a lot of pattern and texture to your buildings. But if you don't have that, old magazines also provide some nice textures. Like this is a really nice texture. And this I found also has this pillar with this Uzbeki minaret, which I could add into one of my buildings. I could cut out. And then I saw this this trim right here. Looks like the edging of a building. So I'd be able to cut that out and add that to a building. So you can also find really good textures in magazines. So don't overlook those. These are some other, this is from old paper paintings I've done that I just keep these scraps for projects like this. So it's always good to keep a stash in your house of old stuff. Don't throw stuff out, just keep it. You never know. I've probably had this ones for like 2 years and I'm just using it now. So let's get started. I think what we're going to do is just create each building one at a time. You might make more buildings than you actually use, but each building can be treated as its own subject of beauty. So I think we'll just start with this green one. And I'm going to start by creating a sort of edging. So I think what I want to do is just create some scalloped roofing that's going to look like this. So I'm just going to take my paper and I'm going to create these sort of edges that look like this, that go up and down the edge like that. And if I want them all to be the same size, which I think I do, now that I've cut the same one with visually, I'm going to go ahead and just trace this one to make a few more, and then see how many I can fit along the edge. So that's 4. I'm going to want 5, and I might have to trim it off the edge. So I have these, and I'm going to cut these out. You can take your time. If you need to pause this video, you can pause the video and work on these. And so we're going to treat each building like it's a piece of art on its own, and give it all of these details and wonderful embellishments. It could be slightly almost imaginary. It doesn't have to be like in the realm of what you always see. This is art after all, so you can put the artist's interpretation on it. I'm likely to mix and match maybe some styles you wouldn't even normally see, but I'm okay with that because that's art and that's what makes it fun. That's what makes it exciting. So it looks like I only would fit 4 here. So I'm just going to glue these down on the top right here. And sort of these traditional landscapes also, there's a sense of irregularity. Traditional houses were built often at the foothills of mountains, and they would be built out of clay. And it just gave this charm of irregular pattern that you just don't see in modern construction, where everything's very cookie cutter and it's all very, it's like vertical and horizontal lines, very straight up and down, left to right, quite predictable. There's some sort of unpredictability about old design that is so charming, and people travel to see it. So I have this old paper. I think this would make a nice little trim to put between the green and this, so it kind of looks, you know, furnished like that. So I can decide, do I want more of this color? Do I want more of that color? Do I want to double it? Maybe it would look better if I mounted and then put it. I'm just thinking, you know, like, how do I want this? How can I make it most interesting? I think I like it like this. I'm going to put it on the orange, and then I'm going to have a double mount. So it'll be like that, right? Yeah. And you can decide for your own based on with your materials. And don't feel afraid to look at other things. Like you might have, a lot of kids have these highlights subscriptions, or they have other magazine subscriptions, or even old mailers, like old calendars, has really good patterns in it. You can keep those and use those in your art. Just when you see something that has a good art, sometimes it's even like a circular, like a free circular you might get in the grocery store or at Lowe's or something, Home Depot. Any of these stores, they have nice things as well. So I think I'll put it like that. And I'm just trimming it to size. Visually, I'm not ruler not today. And this, since I mounted this, there's a little extra piece already glued together. I'm going to keep this because maybe I'll incorporate this into another building. So I don't want to lose that work. It's not waste. We'll put this here. Nice, my house is starting to take shape. And maybe I want to put some more ornament in these, this pattern on the top. So I can add, I have from here, maybe I'll just add a few. One in here. And I'm just visually sort of getting it the same size. It's all in the details, right? All right. So I'm just going to glue the back and just pop these on. Okay, and so now I want to have a door, and I have this as a piece of paper from this is actually just a piece of construction paper I had painted as well. So I'm going to cut a piece of it out just to free it from there. And I'm going to fold it in half because I want to make a type of door, I think. So even though it's all irregular shape, I'm just kind of working with what I have here. And I'm going to make a pointy door. So the way I did that, so now I have this door that sort of looks like this. The way that I did that is you just take any piece of paper and you're going to just fold it. Like I'm sure you've done a heart, like a two-sided equal heart before, and you just cut the shape you want. So in this case, I cut from here and I went up to a point. So I created this, but it's a little bit wider than I'd want for a door that looks more like a gate. So I'm going to just go in and just trim it a little bit. And now I have this lovely door. I'm going to stick it on. I'm not going to be too critical, you know, of every piece, because I'm not thinking about each one of these buildings as a building on its own, as its own piece of art. It's part of a larger composition. Okay. But I think most buildings have windows. So I think we'll use yellow because I like the way the yellow windows look, because they have, it kind of makes you think that it's lit, the home is lit inside. So that looks cute. And again, I'm not making these like the same, just sort of roughly around the same size. If they're not exactly, I'm not worried about that. And stick these on. And I'm going to put this aside. I'm not done with this building, because I'm going to go back with marker and try and create some outlines and some shapes and some embellishments. Like, for example, I have this golden marker here, but if you just have any marker is fine. And I would just create like some dots around the edge, right? But we're going to go back and do this on the end once we have a number of buildings put together. So so you can just wait on that, but just to let you think about that. Okay, so there I have one building, and I'm thinking, okay, with this scale of a building, I won't need that many, but I want to have them. This would be like one in the background, a larger one, or maybe this would be one in the front. I got to think about scale as well in terms of the size I have in the back and how big are my buildings. I'm seeing that this one is sort of large, so I'm going to try and make something a little smaller. So that there's some variety in shape and size, like that. So, all right, so let's go back in. I think I will take something, another piece of paper. I have, this is a piece of, this was just a roll of brown paper, and I had painted it white. It was for some old project I was doing. So this one I'm not going to just cut out. I'm just going to scallop this paper like this. And because this is hand painted, it has, if you look up close, it has, you know, you can see the paint blobs and things like that. And it just looks really nice to have that texture. That construction paper is so wonderful because it has a very potent color, but it doesn't provide that texture that, you know, you really want to see in art. You want to have a lot of values, so you want to have darks and lights. And if I have a scalloped roof like that, maybe I'll make a door that also resembles that. So I'm just going to cut out, let's see, a door. Let's make this also a little shorter. And here I'm just going to cut this straight to make it into a door. It also had some, look like some lavender paint on it. I like that. I like that it looks, I don't know, like it's been through something, because these old cities, they've been through something. They show some wear and tear, and so does this paper. So that's cute. So let's just glue that down. But maybe I want to create another layer on top of this door, because that looks like more like a frame than a door. So I can put this on top of there. And I have this paper, kind of random, you wouldn't say it matches, but we're gonna make it match because we are mix match. So mix match is today. So this is gonna go here. That looks so fun. Love it. Now what are we going to do for windows? I have, this one is really great pattern. This is from the Paper Source. I tell everyone about it. I love the Paper Source. It's my favorite place to get paper. It's my source. Definitely recommend it. They have beautiful paper. You get a huge sheet. This was like a very, very large sheet, and each sheet is $8. So it's a you know, it's a lot. Like if you're into paper, it's not a lot, but if you aren't, you know, not going to use it a lot, well, that's sort of an investment. But if you're into collage making, it's a kind of a good price because you get a huge, huge sheet. So you get to make a lot of projects with it. That one's sort of big, so I'm going to trim this down to this size. And again, like all these little pieces around here, I'm not going to just throw them away. I'm going to see how can I incorporate it into another, you know, another building or something. That one is a little too irregular. That looks adorable. Okay, so let's get these on. Okay, and then I can see, oh, this is so great right here. How could I incorporate this into this pattern over here? I'll just put it in this house here, add some more pattern on this amazing Moroccan style house. Looks amazing. Yes. And then look, remember I had this from up here, so I could put this on the door here. Up here, you could write a little address on there, you know, like it's the number. Or you could write Bismillah. A lot of these houses, they say Hadim in Fadli Rabbi, or they say Bismillah on the top of the door. And then I can also put a line. We're going to go back and do this, but if you wanted to put these lines in, you can do that. So now I have two lovely homes, building. Okay, let's keep going. Let's see, what'll be my next house? Let's think which color background I want to use. I think pink would be good. So you also want to have some homes that are going vertical and some would be going like this horizontal. So that it allows you to expose all of the, you know, your designs and patterns. And some houses are like this pattern and some are like that. So, and you can also have them one kind of going over the other. So this one, I think I'm going to have it peek from under. But I'm really just making a series of homes and then I'm going to be assembling it later. So I also have, this is another piece of paper. This was a construction pad. It had like a tie-dye pattern and I just painted it with a few different colors. It's so old. It's just been in my stash. I don't know what I used it for in the past, but I'm going to just cut this off here. And I want to make one of those kind of castle roofs, I think. So you know how it just goes a little bit and then you're going to cut out a little square like that. And then same amount of space and same amount of square. And so it's building up like this. It's kind of not exactly measured, but again, I'm not bothered by it. just keep matching it up to my back to see how much longer, how many more I have to do. A few more. And these little pieces here, I could use these little squares and I can put them inside my yellow. So now it's giving it a little more dimension. Let's see, how big is this? Okay, so now this is the right size for that. So I'm going to move this down and add this on. I could even add this side on. Which one side looks better? This side or the red side? I kind of think I like the other side, even though it's all paint and mix match, but I think that looks really nice. So actually I'm going to use this side of the roof. And I remember from this printout over here, there was this nice trim. It kind of looks like one of those roof trims to me. They have on the brownstones over here where I live. So I'm going to cut this out and I'm going to put it as a trim. Yeah, love that. Okay, so I'm just going to add a little more glue. Now for a door, buildings need doors, right? Or else how do we get inside? I think I'm going to use a blue to make some blue doors. And I think I'll just make a couple, like this will be like more of a public building maybe, where it has like multiple doors. So what I'll do is I'll probably just fold this paper over 3 times here. So it has one side and 2 sides and a 3rd side. And I'm just going to make an arch. So now I have these 3 doors. Love it. And these are big doors. So you know how sometimes at the top of a big door, it has sort of like a, what do you call it? A window? Yeah, that's the word, window. Okay, so I'm going to create some of those windows that are flat on the bottom and then they arch up. Let's see how this works out. I might or might not keep the idea, but this is art. So we're testing stuff and we're trying different stuff and seeing what we like and what we don't like. Yeah. It's not that much contrast, so I don't love that. So I'm going to see what I have that has more of a contrast color. Okay, this is another piece of painted paper that I have. I rarely recommend that, by the way. It's just taking a pack of construction paper and taking a bunch of acrylic paint. And the way that I make these papers is I don't mix the paint off the paper. I put 2 different colors that are sort of that I want. So here I have yellow and I have teal, and I think it looks like I had some white. And I just put a little bit on the paper, and then I take like a piece of cardboard and I just swoosh it all around, and then I let it dry, and I end up with this like wonderfully thick, wonderful colored with multiple tones inside paper, which I can use into my collage art. It's sort of a messy process, so teaching it how to do it online is kind of what might be a challenge. But maybe I can make a video sometime. Okay, and then I feel like I want some more layer on my door, so I'm going to create, let's see, here's another piece of, this is from painted paper. This is so old, but I'm going to use this for the doors. I'll create 3 doors. Let's see. So that's too big. As you can see, it gets quite messy, but that's part of the fun of this. Art mess, it's called. To make my next strip, I'm just using this piece just to make sure they're kind of the same width. Same height, like that. I'm just gonna stick these on. And this can take as long as you want. Don't feel rushed like you have to finish this in one session. You don't. You can let the process unfold. You can take a break. This is not a train that you can't stop or get off. You can get off this train and you can get back on the train. So don't feel rushed, because if you enjoy making this process and you feel engaged with it, it's going to come through on your art. But if you feel rushed, like it's a chore, now you know, like it's time to take a break when it starts feeling like a chore, because this shouldn't be a chore. Okay, so I still want to add more to this building with marker, probably adding some details, but for now, this building is done. Okay, so now I'm going to pick another color. I think I'll pick maybe a blue background, or purple. Purple would be great. And maybe we'll just make a little tiny house, just a small one. Look at this cute little house, this little one. Okay, so how are we going to make the roof? I think we'll make a dome roof. A dome is a very iconic, kind of Moroccan style roof. So we want to get a dome in here. It could probably go around there, and I want to make sure it's going to stick out, because against the colors that it's in front of. So I'm going to look for a paper that would provide some contrast. I think what I'll do is maybe use this color. So the way I'm going to make the dome is I'm just basically measuring across like this. That's pretty big. It's too wide, but maybe I'll make my dome a little wider than the structure, so it'll have like an overhang. And I basically just folded it over, and then I go up and it goes to a point. Okay, and now I'm going to open it. So it goes like that. But it's a little bit too, it's too wide. I don't want it that wide. So I'm going to trim it down. That's good. And now I want to add some sort of trim. So I'm going to see what trim would I like to add. This was a project from, we were learning African patterns. So this was a project we did. So I can use this in here. I like this burgundy color, or you can think about using this strip. Looks like I've used part of it before for another project. So that looks good right there. The black line. That looks good. And so purple and yellow are complementary colors. So I'd probably like to put some yellow on here. I really like to have a lot of yellow as the accents in these houses, because I think it just makes it look lit. It makes the city look like it's lit. So I do like that. And I'm just thinking about how I like that cascading. So I'm also liking it like this. So it's like one up and down, and I'll make the buildings go down. Then I'll have one here and one over here. So now you're also, as you're making these, you're thinking about composition. So now I'll make some windows, I think, for my little tower house. I don't know what to call this kind of house. And I don't want to make them so big because all the other windows are about the same size. So you don't want all of your things to look the same. It's the contrast that makes your piece super interesting. The contrast in colors, the contrast in shapes, the contrast in sizes. So you're seeking that, you're seeking for that. And I got to think, okay, maybe I want this more like when you have a building, you usually have a row of three windows instead of just two, which is more like a private residence. So it's work. Art is work, so you can't give up. It's like, I have to cut all these windows. Yes, you have to cut all the windows out, and you have to line them up and then go back and stick them down. But if there's any work you have to do, art is the best work there is. That's why they call it an artist's work. They say his or her collection is a work of art. It's a work. Yeah, you can just like rub all the backs of these windows on your glue stick. You can even do like 2 at a time. I got 1, I got 2, they're stuck. Unstick them, push them down. And I'll go back in here with a pencil. I'll probably outline these windows to make it look like there's a sense of windowsill. So they're not just like floating squares. But I should make a door. Maybe the door should sort of match the motif of the dome. So let's see, how can I make this door? Maybe I'll use something else. So I have this paper here. So that looks like a good door. Just got to make sure it's the right size. Okay, our city's starting to take shape, right? All right, so which color should we use next? Well, we haven't used blue, but right here I have purple. So I like to go between warm and cool colors. So warm colors are like red, orange, yellow, and cool colors are blue, purple, and green. So this is a cool color. So if I put this color next to it, I'm thinking maybe a red house would look a little better. Let's see. There's no like rule on that, but it's good just to be aware about colors. So I think the orange. So let's go with the orange. And actually, I might already have a sort of orange rectangle cut out. So let me see what I have in my stash of rectangles here. Looking for orange, looking for orange. No orange? Huh, didn't, oh, here's one, but this is not the size I want. So I need something a different size. So I'm going to cut a different size. So I just cut this out and this looks good. So now I'm going to make a roof edge. I'm just looking at some of my printed paper, like how would those look with those lines there? How would that look, do you think? Or do you think it looks too much like this one, so it's not contrast enough? Yeah, I think it matches that too much. Like it looks like it was a set, and I don't want that. But that looks cool down there, like it's a sort of gate or something. What about this part of the roof? Let's see how that looks. Maybe I'll cut that out and see how it looks. And I'm going to fold it over and maybe make a little dome out of this one. It's already pre-painted. See, this is from me saving stuff before, so now I can use it in my art here. See, it always helps out to have saved what I've already done of other projects and learning about other world arts and cultures. We studied the Bogolanfini, which is like the mud cloth, and also learning about the patterns within African cloths and what symbols they mean. So there's much symbolism in the different patterns that they put into the mud cloths, which are very sought all around the world. They sell them at very posh stores and everything. Now they have a global impact in their style. As does Moroccan, which is North Africa. Bogolanfinis are West African, and this is Morocco is a North African country with a very distinctive artistic expression. If you wanted to Google it, you could see some of the amazing art of Morocco. Really bold, beautiful colors. So I want to put a trim between my roof here, like I've kind of done on every one. And I'm going to go back with this pattern. So I kind of like how this patterns, even though everything is mixed match in different patterns, it's also, there's a theme that's kind of getting carried through with this pattern is this black and white. Love it. Okay, this is now looking sort of pale and boring to me, this green right there. So I'm just trying to think what I could put in there to make it a little more interesting. Or should I just wait and use a marker? I gotta think about that. Okay. Just have tea break. Okay, let's think now. So I want to make some windows. So I'm looking in my stash here. This is from the paper source as well. This is like has like a waxy finish. So I'm wondering if that would look good in there. I think it would. Maybe I'll use this as some window shapes. Instead of making them all yellow, use some different patterns in here. Yeah, nice. Love it. Okay, gotta go back, stick down my windows. Some of these stripes are going up and down and some are going left to right. Like, I like that it's different. They're going all different directions. Okay. I could put a little chimney on here. That might be what I'm gonna do. Like, let's see how that might look if I use this pattern. And I'm not gonna put it from behind. I'm gonna stick it on like that. That looks pretty cute, right? But it's like a little bit, the black on the black, it doesn't provide enough contrast. But I'll just keep it there for now, just to remind myself I want to add something off there that, so it doesn't just look like boom, boom, boom going down, but there's visually some action, you know, kind of breaks it up so it gets some, your eyes has to take in more action. Okay, so what else do I have here? I think I like this polka dots, so let's use that for the door. Who doesn't like polka dots? Everyone loves polka dots. Let's go and put this here. Yeah, that's awesome. And then I had this little piece left from the trim over here. So let's see where I can put this on my door. Maybe I'll just put it on the top of my door. It's a perfect size. Look at exactly perfect. Yes. Okay. So, all right. Now I need some more buildings. I'm wondering, should I just use this this I want to call this fabric because it has such a fabric type of feel and design. Do I want to use something like this in there, or am I going to go back to construction paper? I haven't used blue, so I think we'll go into blue. Look at this mess I've created. It's perfect. I love art mess until I have to clean it. Okay, so this one I might also do, like, I'm just trying to think visually. I don't want it to cover all of this building. I don't want it to cover all of that. So maybe let me just cut a piece and then hold it down and see where I need this to be. Like if I had it about right here, that would look nice, right? Yeah. And this one I think will look, because it's more on the ground level, this one will make it more into a sort of gate instead of something like just a house, but a sort of city gate that's kind of taking you through the tunnel to another area of the city. So we have blue, and that's going to be perfect with yellow because yellow is a complementary color. So we're going to put this on here, but I want this to be an arch. So we're going to arch it by folding it here and just making an arch like this. Yes, yes, yes. Perfect. Yes. And I'm going to glue it down. That. And maybe I'll put two like patterns on either side. You know how gates, they have sort of patterns. So let's see where I can find a pattern. Either I can find one from my pattern paper or I can find one from a magazine. This is like an aerial view of some land. So that looks really cool. I have this paper, it has polka dots on it again. So maybe I'll use this one and I'll make 2 circles. So that's 1 circle. It's kind of more of an oval, and it's a little too big. I think it's just not enough space. space around it. It's overbearing oval, an overbearing oval. So that looks good. I can put that there. So I want another one that's a matching color. And like I have this empty shape piece right there. I could think about using this in another way. So this is the negative space. You know, just think about that, how that could be used in the architecture. So now I'm tracing this O to make a duplicate. Same size O. If you're really good with that without tracing, that is great. But I tend to need some guidelines, so I'm gonna help myself out there. Yeah, so now I'm going to put these here. This is my gate. And maybe I want to make like a double arch on it, so I can think about, so this was from the cutout of the arch. So I could use this to trace to make some sort of double shape that goes like this. Maybe I'll do it with this paper, if this makes sense. I don't know if this makes sense right now, but I'm just gonna try this out. You can see what I'm doing here. So I'm gonna go like this. Let's see. So I line that up here. That. Like that. Right. So I created like this outline shape. So let's see if this makes any sense. So it's kind of, it gives the gate some sense of depth. And I'm just going to round these edges like this. That. And then what I can do is create maybe some lines. I'm not sure about this. I'm still thinking about it. All right, but let's look at the whole composition overall right now, see what's going on, what's needed. You know what's needed? A tree, a palm tree, or some sort of tree. We need to put a tree in here. So maybe I'll grab some green. If I have a different green, I'll use that. So I think I'll just create sort of just a regular, like a kind of poofy tree, just a generic tree. I don't know what to say, what to call it. Some people really know all the names of trees, but I'm just going to make this basic tree shape and see how big I need it, like where it's going to be providing contrast on the composition. I like this arch, but I feel like I want it not from blue. I want to have it with a different pattern. So that's why I haven't glued it down yet. So now this tree is just too big because it's just going to cover too much of my beautiful architecture, and I don't want that. So I'm cutting down the tree. There we go. That's nice. All right. Maybe I want to create some, if I have a red marker, I can put some, I guess you could call these either pomegranates or they could be apple. like an apple tree. Just make some dots on there. All right, just got to think about where I want to put it. I'm not ready to decide yet, so. All right, so now I have this extra piece from over here, so maybe I'll use this kind of, I'll make another little layer because you want some unpredictable, this is a little too predictable, like how it's slanted down. So you want to create some, you know, overlapping, which makes your city design look sort of complex and makes the viewer look all around to see your city. So I feel like wherever you're at in this process, you probably have a sense of what you're doing now. You probably have made a lot of art decisions already. So it's just a matter of like making more and to keep building. Yeah, that looks right. But it's just one layer. So I'm going to put, I have this paper also from the paper source. Oh, I also have this paper, which is so Moroccan, right? So I should add this in there. See that flower right there? Or there's this piece, which is like that Moroccan pattern. So I'm just gonna, see, I'm gonna cut that out like an arch. Perfect. Wait, but that's too big. So I'm gonna have to cut it down. Yes. Maybe I'll just put this on there like that. Yeah, just I don't need the background right now. Maybe I'll use that over here. Just glue this down. No, I've lost my glue. There's so many things everywhere. Ah, I'm drowning in paper. Okay. Oh, I don't think I ever glued these little pieces down, so I gotta go back and do that. Yes. All right. So what's going on now? Let's see. So I have this here and here. I have this house, and I was going to put a chimney. Maybe that's working. Yeah, that's working. So I just had this from over here. It didn't work out, so I'm just going to move it over here like that. And I'm going to use this one as a chimney. It was just an extra piece from before, but it'll work here. And I don't care if it's straight. Maybe I even want it to tilt a little bit, so not too straight, not too tilted, sort of a natural. And it's too long though, so I'm going to trim it like that. Okay. And I still have this paper, so I'll maybe use this up here. I have this is like a flower pattern. Put this in the top over here. Yeah, I like that better. So we'll go with that. Yeah, whenever you can find pattern paper, it's just, it really does a lot for your design without you having to do much work at all. So it does the job for you, pattern paper. And you can find patterns everywhere, in all kinds of magazines and resources. Like I said, calendars that are complimentary calendars, mailers, stuff you get in the mail. Like, for example, it might even be a clothing design, but it's in the shirt is like a very nice pattern. So you can cut the shirt and use the pattern from there. All right, so I need a few more buildings. Let's see what I have here. Oh, this was a painted paper, so I painted it and then I put these triangles on there. Should I use that in here? Let's see. I think that looks nice, right? Kind of unexpected, but we're just going to put that in there. This is our imaginary Marrakesh, let's just say. It's our Marrakesh as we want Marrakesh. Okay, so I just need to make a little roof for it. Let's see, I still have this, so maybe I like how this is kind of ripped and jagged, so that might be like a neat roof, just how it just looks, you know, like a ripped edge. But is it too, it might be too pale. So let's see if I can do the same effect with this part. Yeah, I'll just stick that on and then have like a ripped edge. Looks like natural erosion on my building. And I need a little more because it didn't cross all the way. Oops, don't want to be sticking it down yet. Like that. Good. Actually, maybe here I'll put my little tree here. And I'll put a little tree stump here. So, okay, I'm almost done. I want to have a door in here. I think I might go back to green for the door because I have green up here, so and I'm not seeing enough green down here. So this is supposed to be like a sort of gate. It's kind of just like a big door. And I need to make one more building over here. Probably I should go back to orange because I have it bright over here, but it's getting sort of dark. So I think an orange building over here would be my best bet. Let's just hold it up and see. Yeah, I definitely want the orange. So let's just see how big my paper needs to be. This will do. If I build a roof on it, it will then be tall enough. I like it. Yeah. All right, and I think I'll do a nice big door on here too. I could still use this paper, but I have that over here. Maybe I'll use some of this paper in here. Yeah, that just gives some movement. You want to have like movement. I think that's the point of patterns, is that you don't just have all these squares and everything just looking horizontal, vertical, but you have some movement and action in your art. Okay. And one thing, once you do a layout, if you want to, you can use your parents' phone or ask them to take a picture, and so that once you set your layout, you can remember where you put everything before you glued it. So I'll probably take a picture of this before I start gluing it, unless I just take a visual picture in my mind, which is great. Visual pictures are great. So I'm just gonna make like a big arch door in here and see what I have around to make that. I have this paper. Yeah, does that look nice? Yeah. All right, so I'll make a big kind of dome door, I guess. A dome door. And I'm just, again, I folded it and then I'm just making it like that. And it looks like that, but that kind of doesn't make sense. I'm not liking that at all. So I could make it here, but then it's covering my other doors that I put a lot of effort into, so I don't want that. So I need to make it a more narrow door. Let's see. I'm gonna trim it down, go like this. Yeah, that makes more sense. But does it give the sense of an entryway? I'm not sure, but I have to think about it. So much thought and planning. Let's see. I like this door here, so I'm going to put this, but I want to add a little more onto it. So let's see here. Maybe pink. Now I'm just adding all kinds of domes, windows, arches, pillars, you know. So now it's kind of a free-for-all. Just decide how you want to embellish and add to each level so that you have the design you're happy with. Not sure, not sure. Decisions, decisions. So many decisions. Let's move this out of the way so I see what's going on here. This one, I think I'll add one of those on top. Does that make sense, or too busy? Maybe too busy. I'll leave that sharp edged. Let's see, what do I want to have on this door? Maybe tried that. Maybe I'll just go back to making blue so it ties into the back and makes sense. This door is just a wild door. It's kind of like, doesn't even make sense anymore, but it's just visually fun to kind of play with. So I'm just making this door with like multiple arches and all kinds of windows and I don't know, just multi-layered fun, multi-layered bliss. Yeah. And then I'll make two little pillars on each side like this, maybe here and here. I have this beautiful paper. It'd be beautiful to put in there. So I'll put these on the two sides like pillars here and there. Okay, now at this point, I'll be ready to put marker details onto it. So that's the next step, inshallah. Now we're going to take out our markers. So it's a good time to sort of tidy up our paper space. I'm happy with this composition. I'm just going to be putting a moon. Maybe even I'll use a collage moon. I have this white right here, so maybe I'll cut a moon out. Just move these things out of the way so that we can prepare ourselves for the next phase of our art expression. This pen is very good for making details. So, for example, I have this, I can go in and just make some more details so you get, you know, that wonderful detail that you notice in the old architecture. You just want to put little ornaments all around the houses to give them, and I like to use white too, because, or if you don't have white, like a yellow marker is good. I'm not worried about it being perfect. I'm more worried about it looking like it had attention. I think that's what's the objective. It's like each house has a sense. So if I put these little dots all around the door, is that with like little nails or something? And